Esports. Let's do this. We're going to VOD review NAVI versus VP. And we're going to see how NAVI upset VP, the current reigning world champions. Alright, first let's take a look at draft. Okay. So right off the bat, VP does a pretty standard first 3 bans when you're giving Gambit. Elsa, usually you're banning Loki because you don't want to give Gambit Loki for triple tank. And Invis has been really popular in EU. It's just like, she's just the best support that you can kind of slot in anywhere, and she does like really well. Last banning Wolf is really interesting. I'm not entirely sure why they did that. I think Wolf has been showing up a lot more on convoy maps because he's so like oppressive around the cart. Navi's also been playing a lot of Wolf, so I guess it does make more sense. But Wolf just kind of like sits on the cart and makes it really hard for tanks to like fight for that space and fight for cart. Navi does a really interesting draft. They give Gambit Loki, they give Gambit Rogue, they give like basically everything that is like standard to ban. So the standard comp that you'd see around what VP has open is something like Mag, Gambit, Loki, Star-Lord, Tank Pool, and Rogue. And you would just play like this this triple tank, like really strong comp. They're starting on a interesting comp. Okay, so they're playing triple support. They're trying to do like some kind of variation of spawn holding, but they're playing it with a Wolverine. For pretty much the exact same reason why I said they banned it, because Wolf is so oppressive around the cart, makes it really hard for tanks to like try to fight for that space. Okay, Terra instantly explodes out of spawn. Navi is playing basically exactly the comp I just said, except they don't have the Loki, right? Raj goes over to the Thing because they have Wolf. And Terra goes Moon Knight to try to break this triple support. Alright, so what Navi's doing right here is they're all going in really hard for what's called a turn. They're going in for a turn, so they're like dumping a bunch of their cooldowns to try to like take space and explode them. So they went in with Rogue Team Up, Thing Slam, they like threw Deadpool Bubble, they threw an Ankh. So they just used a bunch of abilities to try to take space. They didn't get the kill, but they forced them back to this next corner, which is good value. And they're trying to keep that momentum. Or that's Fi actually. Okay, where did Fi come from? Fi went behind, grabbed Trust Me, and pinned him in. So now VP's gonna collapse on this. Wow, somehow Trust Me lives. That's incredible. Alright, so now we're in like a stalemate. Nothing's gonna happen because the blue team VP doesn't really have a lot of resources to take a turn. They have Groot Walls and they have Wolf Grabs. That's what they have for turns. They used Thing Slam here to kind of stabilize while Trust Me was trying to get out. So now it's just gonna like stand still for a little bit. Navi needs to get their cooldowns back, and then once they have their cooldowns back, they're going to go for a turn. So that's what they do with the Tank Pool ult. They just send it into the backline. They use a bunch of cooldowns, go for a turn. They die, it doesn't work out. And VP tries to push up, get these staggers. Alright. Okay, so now what's really important is to look at VP's ults. When you're spawn holding, you need to cycle your support ults really well. And that's why like losing the first fight on attack against spawn hold is so detrimental, because they're just going to farm their support ults so fast, and then it's so hard for you to win after. So VP has all of their support ults and almost both tank ults. So I really want to see how Navi break this, because they don't have much. Okay, Fi gets another really good grab. They bait out the Invis ult with Moon Knight ult, that's good. But they can't really fight for the cart. So they're backing up, playing safe. Huge grab. They counter with Gambit ult to cleanse it. And then VP goes with their own Gambit ult, because you really want to match Gambit ults. It's not good to try to like kite it with like a rocket amp or something. So their Gambit ult was the only answer they had to this. You go for Strangel. That's a huge Strangel from Fincy. That's also a huge clobber from Raj, though. So here, Fincy goes really deep with his Strangel, and it's a really big Strangel. Like, this is a really good Strangel. But unfortunately, because of like the nature of VP's comp, they're not able to follow up on this. Like, he hits the Gambit with his ult, and he sees him, he goes like straight for the Gambit. But VP's comp is too slow. So because Fincy sent it from like back here all the way into here with a movement ability, nobody else on his team is able to follow up on it. And so unfortunately, this Gambit just lives. And then Navi's Gambit ult stays up. And then it's like, it's stabilized. Fincy's trying to back up, but Raj hits this huge clobber. He hits Nevix and Fincy, discords Fincy. They kill him. He's going to get rezzed by Rocket. And so now VP's used 2 support ults and both tank ults. And honestly, Navi hasn't used a lot, right? They've used, like, they used Moon Knight ult, and then he swapped to Star-Lord. They used Gambit, and they used Clobber. So it's like a 3 for 4. And VP's ults are way more valuable, so that's really good from Navi. So all they have left is this Bongo. So again, we're waiting for cooldowns, looking to take a turn. As soon as we go for Thing Slam, we try to force this Wolf out. That's what we do. So now we're just looking for an opening to like swing. VP want to take their turn, so they go in with the Wolf ult while Fincy walks up with an E. Nevix is going to look for walls. But they go for Luna ult. So or Sparker tries to counter with the Bongo. But obviously that doesn't work. He put it too deep. They needed to try to use it to kite, probably putting it like back here. But yeah, it just kind of turned into like an ult slop fight. Where VP kind of invested a little too much trying to win. But now they're going to TP back. They're close to Invisult, they're close to Gambit ult, and they're close to both tanks. But out of this TP, Rogue with team up is so good for these TP fights because they all have to funnel out of one tight spot where you're going to be able to cleave everything. So yeah, you see Trust Me instantly pops team up, goes with his ult, and they're just going to try to blow things up like as soon as they come out of portal. So he's stuffing the supports, so they're looking Groot now. This Groot's going to die, yep. And now the supports, like, they can't walk out of here because there's a giant thing sitting in their face, and then they just wipe the cart. So yeah, I really like how Navi played this this recontest with TP. That was really good.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
Okay. Alright, so look at where Navi is setting up. They're all setting up on this corner with their solar up here and Kirk up there. They're doing this because they know that VP is gonna like walk from up here and like here. So they want to be really close because they want to be as close as possible when they go with the Gambit ult. Because of like when they nerf Gambit ult, they nerf the movement speed and the timer. So it's actually a lot easier to kite if you're pretty far back. So they just want to be as close as possible. So that's exactly what they do. They wait, they're close, they Gambit ult, and they just send it. So they're just going to run them down with everything. VP does a pretty good job of trying to like stabilize through it. But Navi's hit was just way too strong. So they weren't able to stabilize fully. They lost 2, and then they had to commit their own Gambit ult to try to stabilize the rest of the fight. But this is still losing, right? VP is fully on the back foot. Navi has all the tempo. They're like running them over, and they're up 1 because their Wolf's not back yet. So Fincy's gonna try to flip the fight with Strange ult. He hits the Rogue. So now they have numbers advantage. And now VP has tempo. And this Wolf makes it super hard for Navi to try to like hold them back at all. So the Wolf is just so oppressive. So now VP flipped the fight. And Navi has to just go for a reset. I can't believe Navi slapped them like that. I mean, these were good games. Alright, so they cap cart. VP is holding back here because it's not really possible to hold a good spot over here, like on the cart or like up here. Like these just aren't good enough chokes to like hold, because they're gonna get flanked exactly like Terra's doing right now. But when they're up here, it's way harder for their backline to find a safe spot because even if they go down here, then Navi just take a turn with like a Starlord spin from over here, and then their rogue goes in with team up, and it like blows them up. So they're playing the right spot. They're playing safer. Navi's taking a really hard turn. They match support ults. Sparker's looking for Phoenix ult. Doesn't find anything. Fi gets a really big Wolf ult. Kills Trust Me. Yeah, and now they just have to reset again. Fincy goes in for cleanup. Kills the Gambit. Big. Alright, so that was a really good fight win for VP, but if you look at the ults are heavily in Navi's favor right now. They're about to have 5 ults. They're about to have their Gambit Starlord combo. And all VP really has to match is Groot Gambit. And Groot Gambit is probably not going to be enough to stop a Gambit Starlord hit. So they're just trying to chill, they're trying to take damage, let Crook build his Gambit ult. VP goes first. That's what they need to do here because they're like, okay, if they haven't gone yet, they don't have Gambit ult. So we need to go before they get it and just run them over. But then Crook does get it while they try to go for this hit. And we just go Gambit Star. They try to like split and hide to live this, but they just get chased down. So yeah, that was kind of an unwinnable fight for VP. They did what they needed to do. They needed to go first with Gambit ult, but it wasn't winnable. So he ends up capping second.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
And then look at how they're like... Look at the map that they're playing. So most of the time, you want to like push all the way up and poke them while they're walking up here. But they see that they go for TP. And so literally everyone is just stacking on cart except for Jerky. I think he went to go scout TP. So everyone is just stacked here, and again, it's the same thing as first point. Going out of TP in the rogue with Gambit ult, or with Gambit team up and ult. So he goes for it. He's just stuffing the TP. That Strange lives somehow. That's great. Oh no, he doesn't. He died. And yeah, so it's just impossible for them to walk out of TP with that with the rogue ult and the team up. And so Navi just win this first fight from TP. Now we're gonna walk up. We want control of this high ground. So we're putting 3 up here. That's good. We force them down. Just Fi's presence here, by the way, makes it so that they can't, like, get super aggressive. Wow. Their Starlord just exploded. Trust Me grabs the Wolf. He grabs in the Rogue. And yeah, basically, since Navi have the numbers right now, they're just trying to push as hard as they can to like. They're basically trying to crack VP so that they find like a hole in the armor, and they get a pick. Because they wanted to snowball that 1 kill on Sparker into like the entire rest of the point, so they're pushing really aggressively, trying to take a 6v5 and just like find another pick. And then once it's a 6v4, then it's like okay, we can run them over, we can use ults. So Jerky goes for an ult. Forces the invis ult. This is really good. Now we need to try to live, but I mean they have so much CC and Raj is on Strange, so he's just gonna explode. He dies. The rest of the team still trying to kite. Trust Me dies, and now it's just like fully lost fight. Okay, just reset. Back out. Alright. Going again. Taking the high ground, taking different lanes. Alright, so we're going with Gambit Starlord. We know that VP already used their invis ult last fight, right? So Terra's #1 target is probably going to be their supports. The Gambit, if he can find it, I don't think he's going to be able to find it. I think Cyber's just going to hide. So he's going to go for the invis and the star. They both run away and hide. VP does a really good job of kiting these Gambit Starlord ults. The only person he was able to find was Fincy, who like doesn't have any mobility and died on cart. They get rid of Elam notification on replays? I'm not sure why it's doing that. Spectating. I think it might just be because I'm like skipping around. Controls. Did I turn it off somehow? I don't know. It's okay. Either way. Why does it say Trust Me is on Xbox? Trust Me is on Xbox, Jerky and Raj are on PS4. What the hell? Anyway, yeah. VP does a really good job of like kiting these Gambit Starlord ults by just running and like hiding. Even with their own Gambit ult, like they didn't want to try to match it because okay, so VP has their own Gambit Starlord ult too, right? The reason they don't go with it here is because Navi went first. So if Sparker tries to ult here, he's just gonna explode. Like he's just gonna die. So he's like, okay, they went first. We have our Gambit ult. As much as I would love to combo Gambit Starlord, I can't. Like I'm just gonna die. So he runs all the way back to spawn and just hides. Jujuro hides. Saipe was over here for the whole time. Nevix ran into the room to hide. So yeah, they kite it really well. And now the ult advantage is in VP's favor. So what they should do here is they should try to wait. Okay, well they go early. I think they should try to like wait for Fincy. Like kite back out this way. And try to stabilize and then go with Rogue ult while Fincy's here. Because the Rogue ult is going to take a ton of attention. And then we can look for Strange ult in the middle of it. But I guess they wanted to go early and just try to hit. So I think this is kind of a mistake. Yeah, so VP just wanted to go fast because Navi's Gambit ult just ended. So they're like, okay, their ult just ended. They're gonna be like out of position. We're gonna be able to find some picks. So let's just go fast. But I think they should have played it a little bit slower. Nevix and Saipe like run out this way, and they wait for Fincy, and then they go with their ults. But they tried to rush it a little hard. So they traded Rogue Starlord for Luna ult, which is good. But now it's kind of hard. Fincy gets frozen out of his ult. Yeah, it's kind of hard for them to like break back out of here. They kill Trust Me out of his Rogue ult. That's huge. Raj dies on cart. So yeah, they end up still winning. Honestly, that's mostly because this last point is like unbelievably hard for attackers. The spawn is so close and there's so many like places for the defense to like hide and play. So yeah, this last point is super hard for attackers. But I do think that VP made some mistakes in that last fight. Okay, so here VP is again, they're playing around the wolf on the cart. Navi is playing an interesting comp. So Navi has like fully abandoned their idea from attack. So they're playing triple support instead of triple tank. And they're playing Jeff Mantis with Phoenix. So the idea of Navi's comp now is that they want this Jeff to basically be on a flank. So like over here, all the way back here, it's just something like this. They want their Jeff to be like way behind. And then they're going to damage boost their Venom. Or are you not watching TLC vs Swamp instead of this? Because I'm making a YouTube video. I'm just VODing this. I'll watch TLC vs Swamp after. I'm just gonna watch it off stream. Because I wanted to do this on stream and like get a YouTube video. W video. Anyway, okay. So Navi's plan is to have Jeff flanking. They're going to damage boost their Venom and they're going to damage boost their Phoenix. When the Jeff is like, or when the Venom is ready to go, the Jeff is going to pop out from his little hole on the flank and he's just going to cleave their whole backline. The Venom is going to slam the backline and then Phoenix is going to like, Phoenix is going to look for whatever she can. Because the Venom is in the backline has to like hard peel for each other because they're also getting Jeff cleaved. So they can't really help their frontline that much. So the Emma and the Phoenix, they're able to blow up frontliners really fast. Or if Terra sees that like their backline is all clumped together, he can throw a stun and like try to blow up their backline too, with like all the sparks. Fate needs to start like together because he doesn't know like what they have, where they're gonna go. That's also probably why they banned the Daredevil. Like not why Navi banned Daredevil from Fi, because Daredevil is super good at marking Jeff like while he's doing this flanking stuff. He's like one of the only characters in the game that can do it. So that's probably why they got rid of it. So this first fight, they're just playing super front to back. They're playing slow. Trust Me is waiting till he sees their backline to go. Nevix goes. Okay, that's Trust Me's cue. He's like, okay, Nevix just grabbed my Emma. That means they're taking their turn. So while they're pushing, while they're getting aggressive, I'm gonna slam their backline and make it hard for their supports to help them. So Trust Me's in backline. He doesn't want to stay too long. He knows that they're gonna like back up because he slammed. So he gets out. Fate dies, which is unfortunate. They kill the Mantis. Yeah, so he wasn't really able to stop their advance. Because Nevix just ran them over with Team Up and Diamond for him. So their comp didn't really work out the way that they wanted it to. Fincy is trying to do like some TP cheese stuff to try to stop them from like walking out the doors. Doesn't do it in time. They break out. So he does this portal, which just basically stops them from walking back and stops, if anyone else like didn't make it, stops them from coming out. Alright, so Navi is all playing this right side of the map, but they need to stop the cart, right? They can't just sit over here forever. So that's why Trust Me comes from left, because he wants to break the attention. If everything comes from one side, all the defenders are going to look at is just this one side. Splitting your lanes and going from different angles makes it a lot harder for people to like be coordinated and like shooting the same things. Because look at Fi. Fi is looking at the Venom, so that means he's not looking like at the rest of these 5 people. Sparker is looking this way, like their tanks are looking this way. That means they're not looking at Trust Me, so Trust Me's more free. So basically, just splitting the lanes means that they have more things to look at, different ways to look at it, which means less people are going to be looking each way, which means less damage, so it's easier to like walk. So Trust Me slams backline. He's like, okay, this is our time, this is our chance to walk up. So Rojaro walks up. He's trying to fight for the cart. Emma's really strong on fighting for this cart too. She's like the best shield tank to fight for the cart. But they have Wolf, and Wolf is the best character in the game to fight for the cart. So he has to back up. He gets grabbed by the Rogue. I thought they were going to chain into Wolf grab, but they don't. But yeah, now it's a little chaotic. Nevix goes in. He tried to go a little too deep. I think he tried to go like super hard in the backline. Yeah, so he saw... After he went for grab, he's like, okay, I have Diamond form, I have my team up, I want to go like super hard. So he sends it, but the rest of the team wasn't on the same page. So he ends up going in like alone. And he gets Diamond, or he gets Crystaled and he dies. So now Navi have numbers, so now it's Navi's turn to like get aggressive. VP tries to stabilize with their Invisult. It works, they kill Raj. Trust Me's trying to stall the cart, not let them cap. They're like, okay, their Invisult is done, this is our only chance to walk up. They go Gambit. VP matches. They're calling like, Strange one! Wolf one! They kill the Strange, but they go Star-Lord. Trust Me ults to get like infinite more shields to keep stalling cart. Fate ults. Eats the Venom. Knows if he goes for the spit off the map right now, he's gonna die, so he waits. Fate is a fucking shark god. And then he chases Sparker and kills Sparker. Okay. So Fate is playing this matchup a lot more front to back. He's not really going on the angles. I'm not entirely sure why, because I'm not a Jeff player. If I had to guess, it's because VP is playing a really fast comp. They're playing like Hyper Brawl with Strange and Rogue, so their whole plan is to take a turn like really fast. Because they want to take a turn really fast, by the time that, like if Fate's playing here and they want to set up a hit right here, by the time that Fate swings out and starts spraying people, they're already going to be like gone. Like through the, they're going to be through the hit box, the kill box that Fate wants to play. So they will basically be taking a fight 6v5 like every time. So I'm assuming he's just playing more front to back so that he can cleave them on their walk up because they're playing a pretty clumped comp anyway. That would be my guess. Roger's just going for poke, trying to build beam charge. Trust me, he's going to look for another hit on their backline when they walk. We just gave him double damage boost. He's still waiting, looking for their backline. They're walking, he goes, he kind of fucks up the slam, so he resets. But now they know, okay, Venom can't slam right now, Venom can't go backline. Alright, it's our turn. Let's go hard. So Nevix again grabs the Emma, gets Diamond, and he just blows up the Emma. And then he looks for backline. We're in a trank match now. Try to kill through. Doesn't work. Trust me, Stellan Kurt really well. Terry uses Phoenix Ult to live. They still kill him. Okay, so this is going to be really hard for... Actually, Raj TPs. Let's get TP. Yeah, Navi is down their Phoenix right now, so they don't have a lot of damage. So they're basically just playing really slow and trying to live. VP go with their ults, their Gambit ult, and they just send it into backline, blow up the Mantis. Fate is like super low, trying to live. He dies. And yeah, VP should 100% win this fight. They were able to go with their Gambit ult, and Navi wasn't, so understandable. Okay. Alright. So now VP swaps their comp to an Ultron triple support comp. And so does Navi, actually. Navi also goes triple support. Interesting, okay. So it seems that VP... The comps are almost mirrored, right? VP has Invis and Rogue, and Navi has Mantis and Venom. I kind of prefer Navi's. I think Rogue falls off pretty hard when they play like a really spread comp like this. The only things that are really like your targets in this are going to be like the Mantis and the Strange. But it's pretty hard to like go all the way into the backline to go for the Mantis when they have Ultron just shooting you from across the map. And Venom's able to like in and out a lot more easily on their on the targets that they want and pull a lot more like aggro. So Navi's kind of just stalling the cart. They go with VP goes with Rogo. So Navi matches with Gambit. And now they're just going to try to run them over, push them back. Look for picks anywhere they can. Nevix takes the brunt of their hits. And now VP is going to go in with Ultron. Navi matches. Just in like an ult mirror, just kind of chilling. And now we're in Star-Lord ult mirror. So VP uses Invis. Yeah, so I mean this whole fight was basically just ult slop, right? VP used 4 ults, Navi used 3 ults. It's just kind of who cycles their ults better, and VP just had more to use there. But Navi's gonna come in this fight with support ult advantage. VP doesn't have Gambit yet. This is a really good TP from Fincy. Double TPing these doors is really good. It forces them out. Forces all of them out from this side. And this is basically the same thing as like when VP was walking out of a strange portal. Their whole team has to walk through this one tiny space, and VP has Rogue with team up. So if they all try to like walk out here, they're just gonna get cleaved by the Rogue that blows them up. Realize the uptime and mobility these comps have and the Venom pressure, even with team up. Yeah, it's just like matchup dependent. 1-1 SG versus TLC, okay. Yeah, they catch Rojaro out, they pick him off. Trust me tries to stall cart. They know that they can't really like walk out until they back up, so they back out. They try to walk out. As soon as VP starts walking up, they have to give the space. They have to back out. They just have to wait for Rojaro. Trust Me goes in, tries to like... Basically what Trust Me does here is he does not want his team getting stuffed and like stopped back here. So he just goes in backline, he slams, tethers, and goes for ult to basically pull all of VP back to cart. And that lets Navi walk up like around the map. So they're able to all walk out from here. Rajaro's going to be able to walk out from here. He antis the tanks so that they're more scared to walk. And then VP go with Gambit. Navi has to insta-match Mantis and then just run the fuck away. Fincy overextends trying to ult the Mantis. He doesn't get it, so he has to insta-back. So that was pretty good for Navi. They traded Mantis for Gambit Strange. That's like huge value. And Fincy went too deep, so he got picked off. And now Navi is just going to push, try to get staggers. They stagger Nevix. Alright, huge. Now Rajaro is going to be calling like, hey, I have Deadpool ult. Let's look for a hit with Deadpool ult while they walk here. So we're going to be set up like around here as soon as he sees an opportunity to go backline. Yeah, I like he's playing this left side. This is really good. Playing like an angle to go for a like tank pool ult is really good. It's way better than going for main because if you just sit here in main and you like dash in, jump, and ult someone, 6 people are going to be looking at you instantly. If you go from an angle and ult, like these 2 people, maybe someone else if they're like more walked up, they're not going to be looking at you. So he sees that they're like walking up this ramp, so his team has to back. He goes for the ult, he fucks it up, he hits the rogue. It's definitely not who he was going for. Let me see. Who was he going for? Oh. Okay, well, he kinda fucked it up. He ended his dash early. Yeah, so he just didn't get what he wanted. But either way, it still has the same effect. It's less lethal because he ulted a tank, obviously. But it's still the same kind of macro play. But they go with Deadpool ult, and this is their hit. So Venom slams, they go with Deadpool ult, so Deadpool has infinite HP. The Ultron is beaming. Our Star-Lord is super damage boosted. He has a drone, so he goes in and spins. And VP basically is just forced back. They didn't get a kill, which is really unfortunate. So now they're backing. This is a fake out by Navi. So because they just went super hard with a Venom Slam in their tank pool, they didn't get any kills, and now they're backing up. On FlyQuest, we call this sponging. So Navi is sponging VP in, basically giving them a false sense of security that like, okay, they just had a hit, it failed, it's our time to walk. So VP is walking, and then while they're walking, Navi goes with Star-Lord Gambit. And Jojo is forced to match. Terra's gonna die because, I mean, he's ulting inside of an invis ult. Like, understandable. He's not really killable. So yeah, it was a really good play by Navi. It's just unfortunate that VP were able to counter it well with their own Star-Lord and invis ult. So now Terra is TPing back to try to get another fight on this point. Because they have Ultron ult, they think they can win. So they go through, they start with Ultron. Basically, when you're going for these TP recontests, the enemy owns all the space on the map. So here, let me go back to when this TP opens. Alright. So VP doesn't know where Navi's gonna put this portal, so they're playing safer, they're playing more reserved around the cart. Basically because they don't want to be spread out like here and here and here, and then have Navi TP onto one of them. So they're playing like together. As soon as they see the TP, look, they all walk up to stuff it. Basically, they don't want to let Navi walk out of this TP. And so if you're Navi, the only easy way to get out of this TP, and they need to get out of this TP to touch the cart, is to just rip an ult. So they have to go early with Ultron ult. And that makes VP scared, they back while Jerky's ulting. And then Fi's like, okay, I'm gonna go with Psy ult while they're trying to break out a TP and get aggressive, I'm gonna go Psy ult. Psy ult's cart doesn't find anything, but Jerky doesn't find anything either. So now we are in a full neutral fight. Neither side has any ults. VP's close. I don't know if they get any here. They pick Nevix. That's really big for Navi. Trust Me goes backline. This is really good. So now, while Trust Me is in backline, Crick goes to him. That's fine. The rest of Navi, what they need to do is just blow the Strange up on cart. That's why Terra walks in front to shield the heals. Tankpool's looking at the Strange. Ultron's looking at the Strange. Jeff is looking at the Strange. Because Trust Me is holding these people. So Terra walks up to shield this one person. Strange is the only person that's contesting the cart right now. He's the only one that's able to. Because he's the only tank alive. So they're just like, okay, kill him as fast as we can. Terra gets low, so he's like, okay, I can't shield this anymore. He gets healed up, they go back in. Dridro is doing his fucking damn best to try to keep Fincy up on the cart. And somehow he does. Fincy just goes for, like, rips a Strange ult to just try to sustain longer. Ends up, honestly, kind of killing him because he went up in the air and, like, just wasn't great. But because Trust Me was in the backline so long, he was doing a bunch of damage. Sepe was doing a bunch of damage to him. He was healing a bunch. Sepe gets Gambit ult. And now they have Gambit ult versus 0 ults from Navi. So they're able to take tempo really hard. Trust Me dies out of Gambit or out of Venom ult. That's really unlucky. I think he was trying to just kill the invis. Basically, he, like right here, he slams in, he tethers. He wants to go for the actual kill combo, where he chomps and the tether snaps like at the same time. But I don't think he realized how much damage he was gonna take, because it's honestly really hard to hit Venom here. Kaluja's belt says Vest, so who you benching on TLC, Spark or Bolly? I'm going to VP. And I'm benching Saipe. They said they needed a better Gambit, so because I'm just a Gambit master. Anyway, so Trust Me dies out of his ult, really unfortunate. Fate looks for Jeff ult. I think he has someone and he's just basically trying to stall. Nevis comes back with ult. Nevis is taking a bunch of damage. He rips ult. But VP is just able to clean this up better than Navi is. Terra goes Iron Fist to try to stall. Iron Fist is super annoying to try to kill. Who's better, Saipe or Crook? I think that's opinion based. They're both like incredible players. They're definitely two of like the best supports in the world. So Saipe is walking up, trying to farm his Gambit ult. Hold on. I need to stop the music. I also totally forgot to stop my Spotify music this whole time. I hope none of that got muted. Okay. Alright, so VP had to burn a bunch of ults, but Navi also burned a bunch of ults. VP go to a 2-2-2 comp with Sai Starlord. Their whole idea is still this super fast brawl. They want to run over Navi. And Navi is still playing this like triple support stuff. Okay, so Jerky is just trying to live. The Starlord ult. Rajaro ults the Starlord. Gotta force him back to get no value. So that's a 2-for-1. That's in favor of VP. But Navi is stalling the cart this whole time. So now VP is down to 30 seconds. Fly goes in with Sio. He kills the Luna and Crook Gambit ults. So they go for Gambit Star. Fi just killed one with ult. And all they have to do to counter this this Gambit Star ult is Invis ult. Ooh, that's really big. Navi is still able to kill both supports through the Invis ult. Because... Where is Crook? Because Crook threw an anti. Like right here, see? Both supports are antied. So Terra is going to be calling one target. That's who Trust Me is going to shoot. That's who... Basically anyone else that comes in here is going to shoot. So because of that anti, they're able to clean up both the kills as soon as the Gambit or the Invisible ends. And now they're just staggering Fincy. Fincy's basically just trying to like stall to get overtime, but it's just really bad stagger instead. Okay, so now we're down to 5 seconds. Navi has numbers. VP needs to touch cart. Only person who can touch cart is Sparker. Sparker goes in. He has to get out, and then Seipe goes with Gambit ult. It's a huge ult from Trust Me. Kills the wolf, antis the rogue, makes it so that she's really scared to like walk in and get aggressive. All right. Oh, so now VP's Gambit ult ended, and they were scared because of the Venom Chomp and the anti, and their ult was ending, and they weren't on the cart. Who's better, Seipe or Crook? I already read that. I read that again. My bad. Mash right now, at least on Gambit. But yeah, they C9 this. So, because of Trust Me's ult, kills Sparker, antis the Rogue. Rogue is super low. So she's like, okay, I need to back out for heals. Fi isn't supposed to be like on the cart anyway. And so I think Nevix sees it here and he tries to get on, but this payload is so bad. This payload is so bad. Because you need to be physically on the raft. And so he wasn't, he tries to jump on, it's too late. So Navi won the map. It's honestly a really good game from both teams. But Navi just played it a little better. I liked Navi's comp a little bit more. I think triple support is just really strong right now with Ultron. I think Venom is also really strong. But yeah, that was the VOD.